Hello and welcome to the Fourth Wall Podcast. I am your co-host, Matthew Calhoun. This is a podcast dedicated to movies, games, books, anything basically that you would like. Please check us out at our website at www.thefourthwall.co, where you find out more about us and just anything in general about movies and games and stuff like that. And please enjoy the podcast.
Are you not entertained?
Great Scott. You're a wizard, Harry.
Water strong, isn't it? This is Deppy. All barrel roll. Fly a barrel roll.
I am the Super Saiyan, Son Goku!
It's me, Mario.
Stop, would you kindly?
We are doing The Legend of Zelda. So,
Not all of them.
not all of them, no. But
A good chunk of them.
yeah, a good kind of thing for us to do because actually I've never, although I do play a lot of games, I've actually never been able to get my hands on playing a Zelda myself. I've watched people play it, but I've never actually played it myself. But Matt has played a lot of Zelda, so
I will make him play. You rest assured. He's not getting off that easy.
you will make it through Ocarina of Time, and you will like it. No,
That is your punishment.
it's not really that bad of a punishment, to be honest. But yeah, so I'm just gonna break it down on this podcast. Just a couple of things from Matt. Some questions I'm gonna ask him. Please feel free to reach out and talk to us because there's probably obviously things that I miss. And when we go back and do another video game breakdown,
There's going to be things that I miss too. I am not an expert.
yeah, not a. You know, we do.
So please correct me.
Yeah, we do so much on this podcast and so much on the website that we don't, I guess, get the finite details of every little thing. So if you guys can help us out with that, that's more than welcomed and more than appreciated. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Legend of Zelda is not only just iconic, I think it's one of the just well-established, will probably sell just if you slap the name on it, kind of. It's one of those staples of the Nintendo franchise.
Oh yeah.
And you take it away from here.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, I think he's Link. By the way, Link is his name. Zelda is the princess. A lot of people
do not know that or get that wrong. That do not play the actual game.
Yeah.
So just so you know,
Link is the name of the hero. He's the one you see with the green hat.
yeah, and it's a common mistake. So if you didn't know that,
And he gets real mad when you call him Zelda. Actually, no. But
did they ever make that joke in the games? I've never played, so it'd be hilarious if they did.
no, they all seem to know that his name is Link.
Oh, okay. Because that'd be awesome if the game had a little bit of self-awareness.
It's more the fans that will get mad at
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But no, he's probably way up there on Nintendo's best-selling franchises. I'd say probably the big three would be Mario, Zelda, and probably Super Smash, which he's also part of.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong is way up there.
Yeah.
If you put those three names on a
And he's one of the iconic characters from I think just gaming. Up there beside not only Mario but Master Chief and the Arkham Asylum games to just any in particular from Mass Effect to the arcade shoot 'ems from Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the iconic characters.
and he's gone through quite a bit of an evolution.
Yeah,
I guess you could
yeah,
say.
probably one of the most, I guess you would say, evolving characters, kind of like Mario and stuff like that.
He still doesn't talk in any of his games. I know that's one of your questions for later, but it's always fascinated me, these games, because they're so, like, even in the days of Nintendo, like regular Nintendo, it was so expansive.
Yeah.
Okay, and this wasn't back in the day. They didn't tell you, like, this is what you need to do and this is how you do it. Like, when you start that game, you literally are dropped off in a forest.
What's even worse is, like, there wasn't any YouTube. So,
Oh no! That game nowadays is not near as hard because you have walkthroughs on YouTube and people will say, go up to this specific plant and hit it with your sword, and the door will or hit it with fire.
Yeah.
You back in the day, there was no instruction manual for that,
and it was literally one of the hardest games ever.
And I will tell you, when I first was handed a controller, there's a door on the first screen that you walk into, and a creepy guy in a cave is like, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this," and he gives you your sword. There were so many times that I wandered around that forest swordless because I didn't know it was there. Like I said, there's no, like, hey, go in this door and get you a sword.
Yeah.
It just, you start in the middle of the forest.
And figure it out. Yeah. So...
Kids are soft these days.
Kids I just don't know. So how many years have you been playing Zelda, Matt?
I remember being at my neighbor's house, and he was playing it on the NES.
Yeah.
And I watched him play for a long time, and he was really good. And I remember thinking, I want to play that. Mm-hmm. But I was not that good. I was in kindergarten when NES was a thing. It was probably, I don't know, that was probably like 93 when that was happening.
I don't know the exact dates.
But I never really played it on NES. I always wanted to watch my neighbor play it, and he didn't. He was a lot older than me, so he did not appreciate this little kid trying to help him play.
Go do this.
Yeah. But then the real one that I started playing was on the Game Boy, Link's Awakening.
Uh-huh.
I still have never finished it.
Is it just because it's a hard game, or is it?
This was on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
This, it was really challenging, and there was no light on it, so you had to
crane your neck to see.
And honestly, I would ask my mom how to play it, and she got more addicted to it than I did.
That's what we're talking about, people here.
She bought a book, like a walkthrough book, that helped her through this.
That is so awesome.
She got so much farther on that than I did.
That is awesome.
It was really not until, I would say, Ocarina of Time. I didn't play any of the ones on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But when Ocarina of Time came out, I was like, I recognize this.
Yeah.
And that was really the first one that I picked up and started playing. So, that's not what you were asking at all. You asked how long have I been playing. Since 93.
Since 93, okay.
Would probably be.
But, it's okay. Since you played in 93, watched in 93, kind of was an on and off, and then when Ocarina of Time came out, you really started to get big into it.
Oh, yeah.
There's the Legend of Zelda lore and Link's journey as a hero and stuff like that. So let's just kind of open this up to even a bigger conversation, which is, what makes Legend of Zelda so great? And just, from any aspect, you go ahead and talk about it yourself.
Okay. Well, for starters, one of the things that drew me in the beginning was I played Mario, and it was just a left and right. You jump over things, and this one was more 3D.
Yeah.
It still looked like he was laying flat on the ground, but you could walk in all four directions, and that impressed me for a NES game. But to me, even more than that was the music. Even for an 8-bit Nintendo game, the music, it conveys so much.
Yeah.
And the sounds that it makes when you get an item, that's one of my favorite things about it. I have a little clip here for you.
Okay.
This is the sound that it makes when you solve a secret.
Okay.
In you're going the right way in a temple when you hear this sound.
I know a lot of people that has that as the ringtone, by the way.
I used to, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Both brother-in-laws have that. Not related.
Not really? Is that a weird thing?
My sister's husband and my wife's husband.
Okay.
Both have that as a ringtone.
That's cool.
But then, you're going through these temples, and you're not sure if you're going the right way, and then all of a sudden you see this big treasure chest. and it makes this sound, and to me, this is like the epitome of epic. Like, you get an item in Mario, and it's like, ding!
Yeah.
That's it. You know, a coin, or maybe, it doesn't stop the game at all.
Yeah.
In Zelda, it stops the game, and it's like, look at what you have accomplished. Okay, and this is kind of the sound that it makes.
I feel like you would definitely feel accomplished if you heard that.
Oh, I always do. I mean, and maybe in the treasure chest it's something silly like, you got 25 rupees.
Yeah.
Or you got a glass jar. There's some silly things in these games, and that's one of the things that makes it so much fun.
Yeah.
Is they're okay with having those dark and serious moments, but they're also okay with having these really silly things, like a man whose name is Tingle, and he walks around in like this elf costume with a bell on the top of his head.
Yeah. So, just a little bit, kind of the background on Link. So, I've been told, now you can maybe correct me on this. Every Link game is basically the hero reincarnated in a new Link.
For the most part,
yeah.
Some are the same Link.
Okay.
Like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. That's the same guy.
Okay.
But for the most part,
and I know some of the Game Boy games.
Yes, and some of the Super Nintendo, I believe as well.
Okay.
And there's two on the GameCube or the DS.
Okay.
And those are the same ones as well. But he's known as the hero of time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
And he gets endowed by the gods and goddesses of Hyrule, and because he's pure of heart and he's brave and courageous, they call him the brave youth. So he gets endowed with these powers and abilities and items. One of the main ones being the Master Sword. Every time in the game, you know that it's coming. You know in your heart, like, I'm going to get the Master Sword, and it is going to be epic.
Yeah.
But every time, you've worked so hard to get to that point. And they talk about, in all the games that I've played anyways, they talk about how it's the sword that banishes evil. Like, evil cannot win if the hero of time has this sword. And they build up to that so much that by the time you get it, you're just like, yes! Give it to me!
Victory is in fact sweet.
Yes. Oh, I actually have...
Did you want to play the whole thing, or did you want to play...
Oh, no, not the whole thing.
Okay.
One of the best moments for me was in the Twilight Princess.
Okay.
They built up to the Master Sword beautifully.
Okay.
And it's in this like hidden part of a village that you've passed through multiple times by this point, but they take you to a different area, a cove. I don't know what the thing is.
Okay.
But this is the music that plays when you get that sword, and so.
I feel like I could take on the world with that Master Sword.
I know, and as epic as the fanfare is when you get an item,
yeah,
it's just that much more when it's the Master Sword. and usually the Master Sword is not even complete when you find it.
Oh, okay.
You still have to go and get it. I keep saying endowed. I don't know if that's the right word.
I don't know.
Imbued. You have to go and get it. You have to take it to like the fire temple and get the fire crystal and then the earth crystal and the.
Yeah,
I'm not saying those
I know
right.
that these games are kind of known for their just how long they can be, But from what I've watched and stuff like that, and you can elaborate more on this, is that these games, even though that they came out in the NES and stuff like that, they were actually very massive games, and in a sense, were just
They were way
huge.
before their time.
Yeah, huge. We talk about games like Skyrim now and Fallout and Mass Effect, and how they have these huge universes,
Open world.
Yeah, these open world type universes. Whenever I think that Legend of Zelda had already thought of this way beforehand, and was one of the only front runners in that race, that I think a lot of games that we have now springboard off of that platform that Legend of Zelda.
And the way that the fact that they could do that on the little Nintendo 64 cartridge.
Yeah.
That nobody else could do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some good games on the Nintendo 64, but I challenge you, look at like IGN and all these gaming channels. Look at their
GameSpot,
top 10 games of all time. Usually, Ocarina of Time is at the top of the list, if not.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that quoted many times with Ocarina of Time, and also I would challenge people to go ahead and look and see about just the story that goes behind these games, because these are some of the finest crafted stories.
Oh yes,
in gaming, and Legend of Zelda is what I think. Legend of Zelda and games like Legend of Zelda, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and stuff like that, are the reason that we can call games an art form, because of the story it tells, and not only the animation that goes into it, but just the vastness of the world that you can be caught up in with these games. And so it just brings a beautiful, I guess, bow to what they have done over there at Nintendo with this product.
Oh yeah,
and have been able to market it as, and not only market it as, but continuously sell it and make it a well-selling franchise.
Fine wine.
Yeah,
it's one of the,
especially
not to start quoting a country song.
Well, especially I think for say if we didn't have YouTube and stuff like that, I think this would be a very more rewarding game if you were to only complete it on your own. And some people do only complete it on their own.
Oh yeah,
and never look up anything. But I think that was what was so great about Zelda whenever it first came out, was this very challenging game where it was just use your wits to figure this thing out.
Oh, it's definitely challenging. And we can move on to that puzzle gameplay that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
This is not just try to get to the right like Mario. This is not like
a point and shoot Call of Duty.
Yeah, you can't.
This takes skill.
If you play Zelda and you're not getting frustrated at one of the temples, you are not playing it right, my friend.
Or you YouTubed it.
You're cheating.
Yeah, you're cheating.
But the puzzles, that's another great thing about this, is you have to think about it. You have to. You may get into this room too early, and there's nothing for you to do. But so you have to go back and backtrack in this. In the temples. Yeah. Those are like where the boss battles are. That's where you get your items.
Okay.
This is how the story progresses. Okay. He goes into these temples, and it's littered with puzzles. Mm-hmm. And you may get into a room, and there's nothing for you to do there. So you have to backtrack and go to a different room, and pull a lever or open a treasure chest or do something in there, and then now there's something for you to do in this room that you started in.
Yeah.
So you have to think, and you have to explore everything.
Yeah, I've sat here in your living room and watched you played, and I've seen you go through an entire temple, then almost have to go back to the very beginning just to pull a lever or to do something that you did before, or discover some other item to then unlock a thing, and then
it is a trial and error game.
Yeah,
that's a good way to.
And I don't even think not only just trial and error, but just a really different it breaks a lot of different genres with the way that the Legend of Zelda franchise has, from the action aspects. We are caught up so much now in this Call of Duty type style of fighting, and now here recently we've gotten better and bigger indie games and indie development and stuff, and it's been I think a little bit easier for indie artists to indie developers to make a name for themselves and get their product out there. But this came out in this pure time of gaming, and to this day still comes out, but it's still vastly different, I think, than what we know of this first person shooter era that we kind of are now coming out of. I think
there is action as well in this. I've always been much more drawn to the games that give you a sword of some kind than the games that give you just a gun.
Yeah.
To me, that's where it's at. Like, if you give me the choice of being a stormtrooper or a Jedi, I'm picking Jedi.
Yeah.
Because I want a lightsaber.
Well, obviously. I mean, who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
But I love the sword and shield gameplay that Link brings. And they really started to explore that even more in some of the later games. They give you more complex combos that you can do and killing moves.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, in Twilight Princess, I told you they call him the hero of time.
Yeah.
You actually meet this warrior. Twilight Princess is the one where you change into a wolf, and you see this golden wolf on your map, and you go up to him, and then he turns you into Link, and then he turns into this big skeleton. And the more you meet him, the more complex the relationship becomes. You find out he's one of the former Links.
Yeah.
So he's teaching you things that he learned on his journey, sword techniques and shield techniques. And one of my favorites is you lock onto the person, and then you can Link will put his sword up, but he'll keep his hand like close by.
Yeah.
And they'll start running towards you because they're like, "Oh, well, I got him now."
Yeah.
And at the last second, Link will take out his sword and spin around, and it's a killing blow.
Awesome.
But if you miss, then you have no sword. So
so
pretty easy to take down at that point.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I would suggest it's probably one of your favorite moments, but also we may spoil a bit of the stories coming up here, so just be aware and be mindful of that. Just some of your favorite moments from the games, if you could go into that somewhat. Or...
Okay, I remember playing Ocarina of Time. I was in college, and it had been out for a long time.
Yeah,
and I was actually playing it on the Wii. I had it downloaded to a SD card.
Well, and the Wii does, I think, the backwards compatibility, or at least they did, or they had some games.
You can't put the actual game into it, but I downloaded it from the Wii store.
Okay.
And I was playing it on that. And there's this moment where there's some item you have to get by there's a store, and he like puts these rubies through this thing, and you have to shoot these rubies down, and some of them will jump up, and you have a few seconds to get your bow ready and shoot it before it hits the ground. Some will come across on a line, and you have to try and shoot both of them.
Yeah.
We tried and tried and tried that stupid thing for hours.
The best part is, like, you're in college at this point.
Oh,
and still can't.
There were so many things we could have been doing.
Like studying.
Something productive.
Something productive in society.
But we tried for hours. I tried. My wife tried. She was my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
My friend Chad tried. My friend Jake, who I thought was the epitome of video game expert, tried. Yeah. None of us could get it. We always missed just one, and you had to have 100% completion. Okay, so
this game will break you.
It was probably like getting close to midnight, and the girls had to be out of the dorm at midnight. So we were like, okay, we're quitting at midnight, but we're gonna get this.
Yeah.
I finally got it. I got 100% completion, and I grabbed one of the kitchen knives that was staying there, and I grabbed it and I jammed it into the table, and I just yes! I felt so manly.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry for those of you using headphones, but that's probably more friendship than game moments.
I mean, we've all kind of had that moment.
That's true.
Mine was kind of like with Portal, and just that I've had a moment. Sometimes you just gotta shout.
Oh.
You gotta let it out, man.
And I remind you, it was close to midnight.
I was on a monster binge. I hadn't had anything to eat. I was so hyped up on caffeine. No, just so any other favorite moments, favorite story moments, favorite just
story moments.
anything that off the top of your head that I can put you
The
on
water temple is the worst.
and that's
in every Zelda game. The water temple will test your patience.
Oh yeah, is it just because of the dynamics of the game, or is it just like they want to break you?
Some game designers just want to watch the world burn. No, in Ocarina of Time, actually, you have to switch back and forth between regular boots and the steel boots.
Yeah.
The steel boots will take you all the way to the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you have to pause the game, get to the right menu, click on the steel boots, and then unpause the game, and he'll be wearing them, and he'll sink to the bottom. And then if you want to take them off, you have to do the exact same thing in reverse. And you have to do that like 100 times.
No.
in Twilight Princess, they fixed it
Yeah.
a little bit, where you can just like equip it like an item.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, well, that would.
that makes it easier, but it's still the water temples.
It's still the water. Is it? I guess I would say because of the tediousness of how
Yes.
it was in Ocarina of Time.
Yes, I would have to say the Master Sword is always a favorite moment. In Twilight Princess 2, they also make you wait to get the green clothes. So you're stuck wearing like normal clothes for a little while.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's a cool little twist to it.
Yeah. Getting the horse is always a cool moment. And one of the things, like, a lot of this sounds like every game is the same.
Yeah.
And it follows the same formula, but they're all different.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying?
They all have a story that's different also.
A little bit of different story. For the most part, once they got it right with Ocarina of Time, it stayed pretty faithful to that formula.
Yeah. I don't really.
Majora's Mask changed it up quite a bit.
Yeah.
You had Majora's Mask. I haven't actually played through it, but I watched my friend Chad play through it.
Yeah.
It looked like it would frustrate me, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Just watching him was enough for me.
Yeah.
But it goes on the time span of 3 days, and there's a moon up in the sky that's going to come down and destroy the entire Earth.
Yeah.
The entire kingdom of Hyrule. So you go around for these 3 days collecting masks, and each mask has a different power.
Yeah.
And then they'll have a timer like at the bottom, and you can go back in time actually, because Hero of Time there again. You can go back in time and start over, and it'll keep all your masks, but everything. It's kind of like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go back, and everybody that you've helped and everything, that they don't recognize you again, and But the cool thing about that is they have these what they call transformation masks, and you transform into one of the Gorons.
Oh, okay.
And roll around. They're one of those big rock people,
Yeah.
and you can roll around like you see them doing in some of the other games. You can transform into a Zora, and that was the coolest thing, was watching him like swim around. Those are the people that live underwater.
Yeah,
they're kind of like fish people,
okay.
I guess. They live under the water in the lake.
Okay.
And watching him swim around, he looked like a dolphin. It was awesome.
That's awesome. That's cool. So a lot of people, now that we have these games that are a lot, like I will just point out one that's really just prevalent in my mind right now. Mass Effect, which is kind of almost in a sense has a a cinematic feel to it. About has
yeah.
this dialogue that's very unique and all that. And then you got games from Telltale that base their gameplay on the choices that you make and the dialogue that you make. Well, Legend of Zelda has a speechless hero. And so, how do you think that either helps or hinders the series? Because I know that there has been controversy about it in the past, and controversy about them changing it or not changing it. So, just what are your thoughts on that?
Okay,
anything you can say about it, really?
I think it works.
Yeah.
At the time when they started making these games, they weren't able to do voice acting. So they just put like words up there, and every now and then you'll get like a sound effect from Link. He's not voiceless.
Okay.
He just doesn't speak.
Yeah. Okay.
He's quiet.
Okay.
He grunts and he, actually, no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to do impressions of Link. Nobody wants to hear that. Okay, but I think that works. Because then, Link is he can be whoever you want him to be.
Okay.
He can be. You can picture him as the strong, silent type. You can picture him as he has thoughts run into his head, and they can. He fits whatever mold you want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's honestly why I think a Zelda TV show, there was talks of doing one on Netflix for a while, or a Zelda movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't think that would work because everybody has a different take on Link.
Yeah.
And if they pick one of those, it's like, well, these people were right and everybody else is wrong.
Yeah.
And so he kind of. Whatever you want him to be, and I honestly think that the game would lose some of its value if they added voices.
Yeah, or voice acting
and they do have the characters all do the same thing that Link does. They grunt and they make sounds, so you know what their voice sounds like.
Uh-huh.
But it's all red.
Yeah.
Scrolling.
Which I did like that part about the game, just for the fact that you can read at your own pace and all that stuff, and I think it sets itself apart whenever it does that, because the line between movie and game is constantly being tried to be blurred.
Yes.
I think,
and for the most part, it's never good when those two things mix.
Yeah.
Video games that come from movies are usually not that great, and video games that try then to be a movie, usually not that great.
Yeah, and so I think that usually, yeah. I think that whenever this type of thing, with Zelda that it has going on, it sets itself apart, but it sets itself apart in a good way, and I think it keeps with the type of hero or type of stuff that Nintendo does and what they put out on that platform of now, I guess, the Wii U. But it sets just kind of this precedent with being different, while also having a same formula.
Yeah.
And because the Link formula is kind of stayed tried and true, but also it's different in the sense that I think that although things will change within it, it's not going to change drastically in a sense, or try and be the next Battlefield or the next Madden or something like that.
It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, and it can stay true to itself because that's what we want. And that's what the gamers want. So I think,
I think another thing that works with him being kind of silent is that he blends well into that world, but I also think that he's very versatile.
Yeah.
He's always got a whole bunch of gadgets, and he's always going into these temples looking for items.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I say is he's kind of like a medieval Batman and Indiana Jones, and in Majora's Mask, it's kind of like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So
I kind of give you just a couple minutes of prep time whenever I came up with this question. But what is your next ideal Zelda game that you would like to see? And if you can come up with something kind of off the top of your head about it, or just a premise of some type of, if you have anything in mind.
Really, just more of the same.
Yeah.
As far as ideal goes, if there's good puzzles, if there's a good story, the graphics don't have to be perfect. I'm not one of those that says, "Oh, the graphics were terrible."
Yeah.
I don't care. I even liked Skyward Sword that
Yeah.
nobody else. They said it looked too cartoony. I'm like, it's fine. They did it on purpose.
Yeah.
You know. I liked Wind Waker too.
I know a lot of people actually like. I know of a lot of people that like Wind Waker. So
Wind Waker was a lot of fun. You felt like a pirate. But no,
they did pirate selling before Assassin's Creed, and were successful.
No, a good story, fun items, because that's one of keep some of the classics. You know, the hook shot, the boomerang, the bombs, the Master Sword, obviously, and the Hylian shield. But give us some variety. As was it Skyward Sword that you had this bug that you could control and it would fly around the room and you could pick up bombs and like drop it into a thing, like a hoop. That was a lot of fun. The bow and arrow is always good. You know, good story, good items, and for the most part, keep it pretty familiar. I love seeing the Gorons and the Zoras, and the different races that live there, and being able to explore, be a part of their world.
Yeah.
The Twilight Princess game added you could fight on horseback, and there was a jousting part in that. That was fantastic. It was hard. But it was so much fun when you finally knocked that guy off his horse. Or he was riding a pig.
Yeah.
When you finally knocked him off,
That
it was
pig.
amazing. It was amazing.
No, so again, to put you on the spot, I'd just like to give your recommends to a person that has never played, like myself, has never actually truly played a Legend of Zelda. Where would you tell them to start?
I'd say start with the classic,
The
Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
The graphics are not perfect, and they've aged quite a bit. The story is still great. The items are still great. The gameplay and the replayability is great.
Yeah. I have a friend that's played that game and has beat it like 15 times. Parker.
Oh yeah.
He would just like sit there and like he will just repetitively play it and like he knows everything about it. And I'm like,
I had started it again a while ago, and I kind of started doing other things. He picked it up and he looked around. He looked at my list of items. And he looked at what temple I was at. Oh, I know exactly where you are. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Like I watched him. He's like, yeah, I beat it like 8 times now. I'm like working on my 9th. And I was like, well, okay, but I would recommend
Have fun with that.
it's just if you are a tried and true fan of the Legend of Zelda series, or you're kind of a newbie and you want to check something out about the story, look up Game Theory's Legend of Zelda videos. Not the hookshot one, but there is one about Link and how he may be dead.
And it's in Majora's Mask.
Yes, and it's a very complex cover through of the game and stuff
Actually,
like that.
he was the one that told me that the skeleton that teaches you those moves in Twilight Princess, he thinks that it's the Link that died in Majora's Mask.
Yeah. So just check that out. It's so cool. It was my first time kind of experiencing the Legend of Zelda story and just some. And I kind of got the bigger picture of why everybody loves this series of games. And so, yeah, please check that out. I'm willing to promote good content, even if it isn't my own. But go check out.
Even if it is several years old.
Yeah, several years out.
Several decades old.
Yeah, maybe somebody still hasn't watched it though. So please go check it out. Again, if you have liked this podcast, please check out more. We do movie reviews and movie news and games and music. We do music breakdowns on our website there, which is www.thefourthwall.co. Please check us out there. We'd love to hear from you guys. Would love some feedback on what you would like us to do, some segments you would like us to do, more topics, just anything in general you'd like to see, or any advice that you would like to give us without it being demeaning or something like that. Please just reach out to us and let us know what you think. And we base a lot of our decisions on fan feedback and what we do. So please enjoy this podcast, and we hope to see more of you guys. Thank you.